Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Swyftx Squawk with me, Pav, lead market analyst here at Swyftx. And we're here to talk all things altcoins in today's episode. We've hit all we've hit all-time highs in Bitcoin on Monday, but it seems to be that the real star of the show this week has been more down the route of altcoins. So specifically looking at Ethereum, and even meme coins seem to be leading the charge here, but we've seen Ethereum up 7.6%. For the last 7 days. And we turn to some of the more standout altcoins like Bonk. We're even seeing those with record-breaking gains in recent times, up about 80% in the last 7 days. So, obviously, what's changed? Obviously, a lot of people might be potentially caught off guard as to how this move has been developing. So I wanted to spend some time today just sort of doubling down on a story we did last week where we talked about the adoption in the corporate space in the US and how there just has been a windfall of demand for altcoins on corporate balance sheets, and even the creation and pivoting of existing businesses into a more crypto-centric model, like the likes of Michael Saylor, obviously with MicroStrategy being hugely successful now, starting to see we're starting to see some copycats really come into the market, but really honing in on, the more riskier altcoins when we look at, their market size cap in compared to Bitcoin and volatility. So we'll dive into that in a second. And also have a very interesting chart that probably will help demonstrate from a data perspective why we could be seeing this surge in the altcoin market really start to take place right now. But firstly, some of the two more recent news stories regarding public companies in the US starting to offer crypto treasuries. We've seen Windtree basically launch a $200 million BNB treasury. Again, they're looking to subscribe more AUM into this product, but it again is a part of their own strategy to basically improve their balance sheet, look to generate new sources of revenue, and just diversify what the company does. And of course, this is something that's not been too new to what we're seeing recently in the market, but we're even going as far as to see existing companies such as this one, Sonnet, a biotech firm in the US, basically merge with another company to basically combine balance sheets and convert their existing business model into a purely crypto-centric offering. So this is very interesting in a sense. We're seeing a complete pivot in a lot of countries just turning their direction squarely to crypto. So this one is a particularly, $888 million treasury that's forming. And again, this is something that I think we really need to pay attention to in the back end of 2025. What other crypto assets will we see join the table? It's obviously going to be pretty important to understand why a lot of these corporations may be looking at these assets. So far, we are seeing a noticeable trend, but they are specifically infrastructure tokens and tokens that can earn yield through staking due to their decentralized nature. But again, I spoke about earlier that there is some data to sort of maybe point to why we could be seeing this rotation of strength. This particular chart we see here compares others, which is a ticker that represents the market cap of altcoins outside of the top 10. Now, this is important because it essentially describes from a data perspective, is there demand from the public or the market, we could say, to preference altcoins over Bitcoin. So when this chart rises, it basically means that altcoins as a whole are growing faster than Bitcoin is, and vice versa when we see it detract and fall. So the notable trend here is obviously since 2022, we've been in very much a large downtrend with small jumps along the way. But where we stand right now is essentially we're in the realms of where we started to see a real material shift in the preference of the market preferring altcoins over Bitcoin back at the end of 2020 and start of 2021. Now, this trend took a few weeks to materialize. Obviously, there was some volatility and some ebb and flow to how certain markets were responding at that time. So it's also important to note that prior results don't guarantee future returns and anything like that. But really, this does serve as a really good reminder as to where we are contextually in the market right now. If we're just trying to compare at what point is the market more comfortable going into altcoins, it's charts like this that can basically help define, from a data perspective, where that might occur. So it's definitely something that I'll be paying attention to in the coming weeks. And I think it'll really help sort of understand, seeing this trend form in the future, if we will see a reaction similar to what we have seen in the past. But that's it from me here today at Swyftx. We'll be back again next week to talk more things crypto. Thank you.